The Jameson family disappearance. Chapter 1. Who were the Jamesons? Bobby Dale Jameson was born in Oklahoma and grew up in a chaotic environment. His relationship with his father, Bob Dean Jameson, was strained and filled with tension. Bobby later accused his father of threatening to kill their entire family, further deepening the rift between them. In 2003, Bobby was involved in a severe car accident, which left him with chronic back pain. To manage the pain, he turned to prescription medication, which gradually led to his increasing dependence on painkillers. This, in turn, caused him to become more withdrawn and distant from others. Sherilyn Jameson, Bobby's wife, was described as highly intelligent but emotionally unstable. She had bipolar disorder, which contributed to her erratic behavior. She had also suffered from significant trauma in her past, the death of her son from a previous marriage in a car accident. This loss had a lasting effect on her emotional state and contributed to her mental health struggles. The couple had one child, a daughter named Madison Stormy Star Jameson. Madison was described as imaginative, sweet, and innocent. The couple was deeply protective of her, especially as their own mental health struggles and fears began to take a toll on their family dynamic. Living in a rural, secluded area, the Jamesons became increasingly isolated from society. They rarely socialized with neighbors or friends, and their lives were defined by fear and strange beliefs. Chapter 2. Paranormal beliefs and occult symbols. In the months leading up to their disappearance, the Jamesons developed an intense obsession with the paranormal. Bobby confided in a local pastor, telling him that he had seen ghosts in their home. He believed that spirits were tormenting the family, and he even claimed to have seen two dark entities on the roof of their house. Bobby also said that Madison had been communicating with these spirits, which added to his distress. Sherilyn, too, became heavily involved in these beliefs. She painted strange symbols on their storage container, symbols that referenced witches, death, and demons. She practiced Wicca and kept a journal where she wrote about spiritual battles and her personal struggle against dark forces. One of her friends recalled that Sherilyn often said, "There are things in this world that science can't explain." As their obsession grew, the Jamesons became convinced that they were being watched and followed by unknown forces. Their paranoia intensified, and their lives began to revolve around these supernatural beliefs. It was clear that they believed there was a constant, malevolent presence in their lives. Chapter 3. Family conflicts and legal troubles. Tensions between Bobby and his father, Bob Dean Jameson, had been building for years. In fact, the conflict had escalated to a point where Bobby sought legal protection. He filed for a protective order against his father, accusing him of violent threats and involvement in illegal activities, including methamphetamine distribution. Bobby believed that his father had been trying to harm him and his family. Bobby's accusations against his father painted a disturbing picture of the Jameson family's situation. He even claimed that his father had once tried to run over Sherilyn and that Bob had assaulted him in the past. These allegations suggested a dark and violent undercurrent within the family, one that may have been connected to organized crime and drugs. As the conflict with Bobby's father intensified, the Jamesons withdrew from society even more. They pulled Madison out of school, stopped attending church, and ceased socializing with family and friends. Their behavior became increasingly erratic, and they retreated into a world of fear, conspiracy, and suspicion. Chapter 4. The strange surveillance footage. In the hours leading up to their disappearance, the Jamesons were caught on their own surveillance cameras packing their truck. The footage showed them moving back and forth between the house and the truck, but they seemed to be in a trance-like state. There was no conversation, no smiles, just a mechanical, almost hypnotic way of moving things in and out of the vehicle. The items they packed included clothes, maps, a GPS system, the family dog, a .22 caliber pistol, and a mysterious brown briefcase. The briefcase would later become a significant part of the mystery, as it was never found. The fact that the family was preparing for a long journey, yet showed no signs of excitement or emotion, only added to the eerie nature of the footage. Their strange, trance-like behavior raised many questions. Was it possible that they were preparing to leave, but in a state of fear or confusion? Or was there something more sinister at play? Chapter 5. The Last Journey. On October 8, 2009, the Jamesons drove to a remote area in the Sandboys Mountains, located in southeastern Oklahoma. They were reportedly going to check out a 40-acre plot of land they were considering purchasing. The weather that day was clear, and the terrain was isolated, surrounded by thick forests and steep hills. The family was never seen alive again. Chapter 6. Discovery of the truck. On October 16, 2009, hunters stumbled upon the Jameson family's truck, abandoned along a dirt road near Red Oak, Oklahoma. Inside the truck, they found the Jamesons' IDs and wallets, their mobile phones, a GPS system, Madison's schoolbooks, the family dog, starving but alive, $32,000 in cash hidden beneath the driver's seat. What was missing, however, were the Jameson family members, Sherilyn's handgun, and the mysterious brown briefcase. The truck showed no signs of struggle, and the keys were still in the ignition. Additionally, despite the freezing temperatures at night, the family had left their coats behind. It was as if they had vanished without a trace, leaving everything behind. Chapter 7. Massive search and media frenzy. The authorities launched an extensive search effort, using helicopters, scent dogs, and hundreds of volunteers to comb the area. Despite their efforts, no footprints, no signs of struggle, and no clues about the family's whereabouts were found. The media soon picked up the story, and the case gained national attention. Speculation and conspiracy theories began to swirl. Had the Jamesons been murdered? Had they been kidnapped by a cult? Or had they staged their own disappearance? Sherilyn's handwritten letters revealed deep anger, while Bobby's notebook contained strange numbers and cryptic notes that only added to the mystery. Despite these unsettling details, no concrete leads emerged, and the case remained unsolved. Chapter 8. Years of Silence. As the years passed, the case grew cold. Numerous theories surfaced. Drug deal gone wrong. Some suggested that the Jamesons may have witnessed illegal activity in the area, such as a methamphetamine operation, and were killed to cover it up. Murder-suicide, mental illness, combined with the strain of family conflicts, may have led to a tragic end. However, no weapon was found, and no clear evidence of foul play surfaced. Supernatural forces. Given the Jamesons' obsession with the paranormal, some people believed that they were victims of some unexplainable, supernatural force. Voluntary disappearance. Another theory posited that the Jamesons had deliberately disappeared, perhaps seeking to escape their fears or start a new life, but given the strange circumstances, this seemed unlikely. Despite all the theories, the truth remained elusive. Chapter 9. The Remains. On November 15, 2013, two hunters discovered skeletal remains approximately 2.7 miles from where the truck had been found. Forensic testing confirmed that the remains belonged to Bobby, Sherilyn, and Madison Jameson. The remains were scattered, likely by animals, and no signs of trauma were found. Toxicology reports were inconclusive, as the bodies had decomposed too much to provide reliable results. The cause of death remained undetermined. Chapter 10. A Legacy of Questions. The disappearance of the Jameson family remains one of Oklahoma's most enduring mysteries. A family vanished without a trace, leaving behind a trail of bizarre behaviors, supernatural beliefs, and unexplained events. Numerous theories continue to circulate. Did Bobby's father orchestrate their deaths as an act of revenge? Were they victims of backwoods criminals? Did mental illness lead to a tragic end? Or was there something even stranger at play? To this day, the Sandboys Mountains remain silent, and the mystery of the Jamesons' disappearance endures.